Digital Content Creators presents the Networking Roundtable discussion.
Thanks for turning up, everyone, on time. Appreciate it. Welcome to another roundtable. I think this is our third edition, Jan, correct? Third time round. Okay, I can see some familiar faces as well. So thanks for coming back. So what I'll do, guys, for those of you who have never been here, maybe this is your first time, we're going to have an interactive presentation using a tool called Mentimeter. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to share my screen to show you how it works. Okay, so this is the presentation. And what you can do is you can get your phone, like so, and just use your phone camera to scan the QR code. I'm going to do it myself right now. And then click on the link. And then it should take you to a link. And then you can just go like something like this if you guys are seeing, and then just do like a thumbs up, and the thumbs up tells me that you guys have successfully connected to our presentation. If you don't have your phone near you or you don't want to use your phone, that's absolutely fine. You can go to www.menti.com. I'll just show you how that works right now on like on a separate tab. So menti.com, like so. And you just put in the code. So you put 8870, 8870, and 835.
The recording has stopped.
Okay, there we go. And now I'm in. So I'm in on both my PC and also my phone at the moment. All right. Just give everyone a chance to log in. And at any point, guys, if you log out, the QR code will be I'll keep it at the bottom, and also the code will be at the top of the presentation, so you can jump back in at any time. All right, just give. Oh well, we've got 12 people already. Thank you guys for jumping in so quickly. Okay, so let's go to the topic. Today's topic is all about crafting your voice brand, leveraging AI for podcast and audiobook production. Really, really, really cool topic, and we're really excited to get into it right now. So let's test the mechanic. Where are you all joining from? So tell me, we want to see which part of the world you are coming from. Wow, South Africa, Ecuador, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Whoa. Philippines, Paraguay, that's me. Okay. Okay. Laguna Beach, CA, Baltimore. Fantastic. We've got a very US focused, of course, but we've also got a very international crowd as well, which is really cool to see. Baltimore, New York, nice. San Carlos, California. Okay, lots of different time zones represented here. Okay, fantastic. So this is how it works, guys. This is basically whenever we ask you a question, you just go to your device and respond. This allows us to have like an interactive event. Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next slide. So let's see, in our current audience, have you ever recorded a podcast or an audiobook? We want to see your level of experience with audio. Okay, so we've got never, just once or twice, many times. Okay. Oh wow, it looks like it's quite evenly split. Okay, interesting. So we've got veterans and newbies. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Okay, this is good. This is good, Jan. So we've got a good mix of people. So when we get into the breakouts, it's going to be really useful because we'll be able to leverage some of the experience from the people that have done a lot of audio. Okay. So who are we? Jan, tell us, who are you?
Hi, I'm Jan. I am the founder and the CEO of Digital Content Creators. We are a content company. We used to do only books, but now we do eBooks, print books, audiobooks, e-learning courses. And not only can we do the production, we can now do the creation. And I will tell you a little bit more about that later on. I am in New York. My second partner is Christine. She's in the Philippines, and Evan is in Paraguay. So that's enough about me. Evan, take it away.
Yeah, so I'm partnered with Jan, and this is what I do. I do events and interactive roundtables. And yeah, me and Jan are partnered for the project that Digital Content Creators is currently working on. Christine.
Hi everyone, pleasure to be here and meet you all. I'm Christine. I'm Jan's executive assistant and also the project manager at DCC. So if you have any questions regarding publishing, e-learning, AI, social media, feel free to message me. I'm happy to help. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine. And our guest speaker today, David Wolf.
Thank you so much, Evan. Good to be with you all. Thank you for joining us today. I'm David Wolf. I am the founder of Audiobook Studios. We are a content production and distribution company. We produce two lines of business, our audiobooks and podcasts. We produce about 200 audiobooks a year, partnering with publishers and working directly with authors. And then we also have about 40 to 50 podcast series in production. Core business there is these are companies that want to build their voice brand, which we're going to talk about today, and or build a business. And they're using podcasts as a sort of a subset or a driver of their digital marketing initiatives. So great to be with you. I'm originally from the music business. I wrote and produced music for radio, TV, and film for the first 30 years of my professional life. So then moved into this space about 10, 12 years ago as podcasts started to explode along with audiobooks. So thanks for having me today, Jan.
You're very welcome, David.
Absolutely.
Thanks, David. So let's get into it. David, what is the state of audio production in 2024? Well, we can almost talk about 2025 as well now. But yeah, what is the state of the current...
Audio is really where we started the market. As I mentioned, I come from the music business. So for me, audio was a natural, from an entrepreneurial perspective, it was the natural place to join this exploding market. We have been growing, in the 25 to 30% year over year in audiobooks. And so it's been an exploding market, really. And most of you probably know this already, but I'll just state it. The advent of the mobile technology and the ability to stream on the go, I think, was one of probably the major inflection points that helped this market grow and explode, all of which created this context of democratized media where anyone can be a voice in the world and have their own show, and a movement away from centralized, so-called network television, network radio. It's really a fragmentation of the media space. So I think a lot of us know this because we've been experiencing it. From our standpoint, though, audiobooks has been growing. About maybe 1.5 books that are sold are audiobooks now. So it's the fastest part, oddly, and this surprised me, it's the fastest part of the digital book market or publishing market, growing faster than ebooks, which is a surprise. But I think, again, because of hypermobile, the ability to listen when you're doing other things, the perceived scarcity of time that we all seem to be experiencing as humans on the planet, things moving so quickly. As an author, you're now unlocking, as a publisher, you're unlocking a whole new audience that otherwise they don't think they have time to sit and read. So they experience the content through audio. And so it's just really enabled us to unlock new audiences that we couldn't before. On the podcast side is interesting. We had a lot of growth, 19% growth since 2020. Of course, COVID played a part in that surge. We do now see a maturing in the podcast market. The growth is beginning to settle down. There are many millions of podcasts out there. In our business, we tend to serve entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, authors, speakers, thought leaders, consultants that want to get their voice into the market, their voice to the world, and we connect their voice to the world. So this idea of voice branding became very interesting, which I know we're going to unpack that a little bit more. So we've got a growing marketplace. It is increasingly hard to differentiate yourself. with content, as we all know. Our job as a production company is to help folks differentiate themselves and create a brand that is uniquely their own. That's really what we're trying to do, among other things. So how's that, Evan? Anything?
I have a
that's
point
great.
to make. So you
Did I
talked
cover-
about people being in audiobooks. So, I remember my first audiobook was on a cassette. And then it moved to a DVD, and then it moved to streaming. So,
Yeah.
one personal incident is I would get into the middle of a chapter when I got home from my commute from work. I'd sit in the garage and listen till the end of the chapter because that's how enthused I was about it.
Right.
Besides that, as the generations change, the people want to be more active and more engaged, and they don't just. And not many of the younger people, and I say that not in derogatory anyway, but they're busy. There's jobs, there's families. They don't have time to sit on a corner and read a book. So audiobook, you can do now with streaming on a treadmill, anywhere they want. So they're more engaged with it.
Absolutely, Jan. Absolutely.
Okay, so we kind of touched on this, but what is the future, guys? Where is this going? All of this AI and audio together.
All right. So we probably need about 3 hours for this, and invite other experts on this field. I'm experiencing it as a production company, so I have a very specific point of view on a lot of this. And as consumers, many of us have a view about what all this looks like. So our company is not involved with the creation of content. So I'm going to keep that out of the equation for now. We all know that authors and thought leaders and attorneys and folks are starting to use ChatGPT-4 and other derivative like products to help them create content. But I know there's a whole slew of thoughts and concerns around who's writing the book and so forth. So what I'll talk about is how we're using AI and what we our best guess about how this may change. So here's, for example, my team. We have a team about 30 head count, of which we have a core group of 5. And what I've said to the team, and my perception, and this will telegraph a lot of how I feel about it, is that we're a company that helps authors, speakers, thought leaders, businesses get their voice out into the world. What we do for people, the way we do it, may be very unrecognizable in just a few years, just because the AI and the ability to do so much with AI is moving so quickly, exponentially so. So how are we using AI? First of all, in our back office, in our production business line, we're using AI to create show notes, create clips and videos, create titles for episodes, sometimes create outlines for the flow of a show. And so it's this back office, really large language model, textual kind of research that I think a lot of us on this call are probably already doing. So we're using it for those kinds of operational things that we do. On the production, the pure production of voice or voice tech, we don't own our own technology. So we've gone through a cycle of talking to a lot of the technology companies that produce. I'm sorry?
Sorry, guys, audio malfunction here.
Oh, okay. You can hear me okay, though, right?
Yep.
Oh, all right, cool. I just heard a scream. I thought, well, there's the voice. There's a voice coming in. It may have been AI. I'm not sure. We're using cloning technology to create audiobooks in some instances. We have a product that we've created a product out of this. This is the most sort of crazy example of what we're doing, where we're cloning the voice of an author. And this may be an author that, so typically what we would do is we would schedule a series of 90-minute recording sessions to record a nonfiction book, an author reading their own. It's assisted with a producer there. This is one of our core products in our business. So there are some instances where the author says, well, I don't want to sit through a bunch of 90-minute recording sessions. I don't have the time. It's too much energy. I can't schedule it in. Oh, and I'd like a little bit of a break on the cost. So how can they do that? So we now offer the ability to clone the author's voice. That takes about, call it 40 minutes. We get source material in a recording session. They do one session with us, and now we can use that voice model for every future audiobook they want to do. And so what it does is it cuts about 30 or so % out of the cost of production, which lowers the barrier of entry, which is helpful to authors, so more of them can be in audio. It creates a version of them reading the book that I will say is, if I could say it this way, it's a little bit closer to the perfect version of them, air quotes perfect. Doesn't quite have the humanness, but it's awfully good, and it's getting better very quickly. When we first started doing this, they were less impressive, but now what we're finding is the clones that, or the voice modeling that can happen from not a whole lot of source material, are getting really, really good. So we use third-party technology, and then we handhold our authors through the process of getting that source material finished into the format it needs to be. So voice tech for audiobooks is very much happening. Another example of the way we're using AI is if the voice of the author is not the appropriate voice for whatever reason, we will take what I'll call a stock AI voice that's cleared. There's no royalty or rights issues, and we will cast very much like our standard casting process, but instead of talking to humans about coming in and doing the voice for the book, we will choose with our author and we'll collaborate with them to pick, the perfect ideal voice for the book. So it's a casting or it's a cloning. That's basically the way I think about that. So quick, I'll try to keep this concise.
David, let me interrupt for a
Go
second.
ahead, please.
So what if the book has multiple characters in it speaking, and you want to have a dialogue, let's say, between multiple characters? How would that work?
So what we've discovered so far is even the best of the audio cloning technologies for fiction are not ideal yet. We're not feeling that we're getting there. Now, there's a spectrum of fiction works, and there's a spectrum of emotional content, across the spectrum of people that write books. So in some instances, we might test multiple characters in the dialogue, engaged in dialogue in the context of a fiction book. But so far, we've not been exceedingly excited about the interactiveness of characters in an audiobook context. But if I'm trying to say this as clearly and concisely as I can, there probably are some fiction works where it would be acceptable simply because of the nature of the material. Doesn't call on the AI to do so much emotionally and connect with each other and with the audience emotionally. And in those instances, we could do a test and find out. Now, conversely, on the podcast side, we've done some experiments where we have an author, a guy named Dr. Gary McGrath, and I said to Gary, we want to do a test. We want to he did an audiobook with us, but this test was for a podcast. So what we wanted to do was create an interview, an AI interviewer interviewing the author as a clone and see what the result was. So we used ChatGPT-4. We asked and prompted Chat-4 to create me a 10-minute episode of an interview with Dr. Gary McGrath. Here's the introduction to his book. Here's the table of contents. Go at it. So we ingested those two source materials, not even the whole manuscript, which you can do. But in this instance, I just took the table of contents and the introduction, and I told him who the author was. And within about 20 seconds, I had a 10-minute script of an interview with the author, Dr. Gary McGrath, talking about his book. And what Chat-4 did was very interesting because not only did it take the source material that I ingested, but it also went out to the internet and wherever it could go and gathered other contextual material about Gary's work and folded that into the answers to his questions, to the AI interviewer's questions. It was pretty spectacular and, both scary and spectacular, right? So the answers that the cloned Gary gave were spiced up with ums and hesitations and a breath. And so the technology is getting really good at what I'll call humanizing a cloned model. And so, he would trip a little bit naturally, and there would be a moment where he would think and things like that. And but the answers he gave were much more concise and fleshed out and thoughtful than probably he would have delivered arguably, if we had actually done the interview and just did an edit like we would do for any podcast episode. So I hope that answers your question. I know it's a long-winded answer, but there's a lot to this.
That's a scary proposition. So, how long do you think it would take before it can do multiple voices? I mean,
we can already do multiple voices in an audiobook. Are you asking, Jim?
In an audiobook, in a fiction audiobook, and maybe even in different languages.
Well, different languages is already something that's totally available. There are all kinds of ways to do that. We haven't done a lot of that because we haven't had the demand to do it, but I'm aware of a marketplace there. Certainly the Spanish-speaking market is exploding in audiobooks, and so now we have the ability to translate. So translation is sort of a different subject matter. Because that's the script being transcript, not the voices. The voices we can get. If I had to guess, I think we're within a year away from it. It's a gradual improvement of the voice modeling and its capacity to evoke emotion in a character. So it's not like there'll be a moment where suddenly it's great. It'll be a continuous progression of improvement, Jan.
Thank you.
Yeah, just to put it in, to put a thought on when will we be ready.
About a year. But
that's a reasonable idea, right? Yeah.
Technology, like you said, it's exponentially the growth.
Yeah, it's really moving quickly. And some fiction material can be done with AI multiple voices. Now it's just we have to test to see, are they screaming and yelling at each other? How much anger is there? Is there a certain type of laughter that chat won't know? That voice modeling won't know what to do with, because you have to. It's reading a manuscript, so how do you do laugh? Those sorts of issues are going to come into play for certain types of material.
Awesome, thanks, David. Thanks, Jan. Yeah, great. No, that's really good, David. And I think now we've got a lot that we can talk about when we go into the breakouts about the future, the current stuff, and there's a lot of speculation as well. So this is really interesting. So just before we go into the breakouts, guys, just want to know what are your favorite types of audio content to listen to? And be specific, guys, about the themes as well. That's good for us to know, not just podcasts, but we podcast on self-help or specific type of music. Maybe you only listen to music, you're not really interested in other types of audio. Spotify horror stories. Wow. Okay, nice. So you can see that audio is there's so many different niches, guys, and please write in the chat as well. Right, and if you're not able to get in for whatever reason, please do write in the chat. Only fiction with real voice actors. Okay, fair enough.
Right.
Storytelling, non-fiction, life stories. Okay, so we can see that stories are really big.
Yes.
To your point about the question about different characters, so it's still very important. Entrepreneurial comedy podcasts. Nice.
It's not working for me.
It's not working yet?
Let's see if this works.
You can write in the chat.
No, it doesn't work for me. I can't write in the chat. It says waiting room participants is not in this meeting. Am I on a waiting room?
Entrepreneurship.
No.
You're not in the waiting room, yeah. You're talking to everyone in the main room. All right. Awesome.
Evan and Jan, I just want to insert a point. You asked me in the context of AI, and AI is a small portion of what we do as a production company. So as I'm looking at all these genres, it reminds me that we use a lot of voice actors. We have thousands of voice actors that we cast in the more, quote, traditional way, and we record them in real time. So I know this was sort of a narrow focus on the question being AI, but that's still a small portion of our entire the audiobook production project mix. So I just wanted to make sure this is not only AI all the time, so
you do real voice actors as well, David.
That's the core of our business. Absolutely. This is a small slice now with AI, but it's a growing market, but it's small in this moment. Yeah.
So we've got sports news. Yeah. So guys, it's really, you can see that audio is super, super vast in the types of content, podcast or radio. Yeah, it's crazy. Just in this small group, we've got a huge range of topics.
Right.
Awesome. Right. So guys, let's discuss in breakouts. Let's put you all into breakouts right now. The question is, how important is audio to your business? So almost everyone here is a solopreneur or a business owner of some kind. And so, you know, do you use audio in your business? How important is it to your business at the moment? We'd love for everyone to get an opportunity to speak. So guys, please allow 2 minutes per person. We're going to put you into groups of 3 or 4, and I'm going to give you 9 minutes in the breakout rooms. So let me just create those rooms right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So great session. We had some great conversations, the ones that I was able to participate in. So we'll just share again my screen here. And so, yeah, some really good conversations on different types of audio. And a lot of you guys are using audio in your business already, which is really cool. Okay, Jan, are you there?
I'm here.
So, Jan, tell us about the DCC.
So David mentioned that he's just the production end of audio. We'll take it to where David starts. We can create the content. We can take author and coaching content and create print books, eBooks, and audiobooks. And then from that content, we can also create a e-learning course. Now, we've gotten a lot of coaches recently who don't have content. So what we've developed, Evan and I actually have developed part of it, is called a human to AI system, where it takes the information available, and with an interview with a book coach and an instructional designer, we can take their content and create a book, a e-learning course, and a social media campaign based on that information. And I will send everybody, I just did the book. My own book is called The Content Revolution, and I will send a copy of it to everybody who's joined this roundtable, excuse me. And don't expect it to be Hemingway. It's basically an asset for people who are looking to be thought leaders. It's not for an author who has a book burning inside of them or a story that they've been trying to tell for years. That's a whole different world we're dealing with. We can do those as well, but these are assets. So the book is usually a combination of their teaching or coaching and what's out there on the internet. And by intertwining their personal reactions to how they experience these types of incidents, we take a fairly good book that sounds very human. I mean, there are certain things that are still not 100%, and we keep working on the prompt, and AI gets better and better. And pretty soon it's going to be indistinguishable between a real book and a person doing a real book and an AI person book. But the whole key is having a human to AI interaction, because with just AI, you're noise, and without AI, you're going to be left behind. So that's my preaching.
Fantastic. And David, anything that you want to say about that? You're on mute, David.
Sorry. No, I think Jan, it's true. You're upstream from us. So as the production house, we're charged with just the best way to connect the messaging, the content, the voice to the world using audio. And we also do some video production on a podcast side of our business. But for the purposes of this conversation, the work that you do, Jan, with your process sets the stage for us to go into production on the audio side, which is great. So nothing more to add at this moment.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you. So
You're welcome.
Thanks, David. We're going to go into our second breakout, guys. We're going to randomize again.
Question, Joseph?
Joseph, you're on mute.
Hi, I have a question. I record almost all of my coaching sessions in a couple of different fields, and I've been wanting to put at least 2, maybe 3 books together, and I don't have time to put all these 3 books together. So would I send all of my recordings how does that, David, Jan, what you were talking about of content creating, send
So
all of
one
my
thing
all my recordings and then you make a book out of that.
so there are many ways to do it, but give me a call or Christine will put in my email and let's set up a time because there are different ways of doing that. You can make a series, you can make long books. The current format of books are becoming shorter, as
Mhm.
is the paragraphs and the chapters. And instead of having one long book, you may break it up into a series of books and sell it as a series, as Catherine does.
I understand. Yeah, I'd like to talk to you. I was ahead of the curve on that. In 2002, I published Zen Golf, and I have 70 chapters, but it's only a 200-page book, and it's no
That's
chapter
exactly right. That's how people are
chapter
doing it.
more than 2.5 pages long, and it's still selling very well after 20 years.
Wonderful.
Reach
Yeah.
out to me and we'll talk. We'll have a
Okay,
one-on-one.
sounds good. Sounds good.
And Joseph, just to, after you and Jan talk about strategy, there's also a lot of ways to leverage the audio, whether we clone your voice and we can create derivative products like a whole podcast series based on the books. That's one way to go, to promote them as you launch them. I mean, also the audiobook itself can be created with your voice, using the transcriptions and the work that you do with Jan. So there's a lot, there's possibilities down the road. Just sharing thoughts that came into my head as I was hearing you describe your situation.
Yeah, I recorded 6 of my 6 audiobooks, but all in studio.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, Evan.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your question as well, Joseph. Really appreciate it. So, discuss strategies on how to implement audio into your workflow. So now let's talk about the strategy. So a lot of you in your last breakout were talking about how you use it, but how, based on what Jan and David have been talking about, how do you think you can add more audio, improve the audio to your current workflow for your business? So I'm going to randomize the rooms again. I'm going to recreate them. I think I might increase the room size. There we go. Okay, and it'll be another 9 minutes.
All right.
This meeting is being recorded.
That's cool, Joseph.
I'll put it in the name.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
So we had some great conversation in my room with Malcolm. Who else was in my room? Catherine and yes, Kimberly. There you are. Yeah. So sorry guys, the conversation got cut off because Malcolm asked about which tools and platforms that everyone's using. I'll just tell everyone again. I use for AI, I use all of the different platforms and I use them using openrouter.ai. So you can choose whichever language model you want to use. And then Kimberly, you said that most of your clients are on LinkedIn. I also leverage LinkedIn a lot for lead gen, and I think it's an incredible platform. So guys, we've only got 6 minutes, so let's get back to the back here to the presentation, the interactive presentation. We don't have time for an open networking. However, we do have a WhatsApp group that we're going to start. And we want to know, guys, if we created a WhatsApp group, how many of you guys would want to join it so that we can kind of continue the networking and these discussions post roundtable event. It's quite natural that maybe you meet someone on one of the roundtables and then you can just very easily find that same person in a WhatsApp group and continue the conversation, talk about the kind of tools that you're using, share links of interest. So this is what I think would be
It's
like
an invite-only WhatsApp group, and you can share it. What I'm hoping it becomes is we can share information as AI develops, And as you learn things that no one else knows, you can share that as well. And by having a construct of experts, we can then leverage our communal intellect. How's that?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, my experience with using WhatsApp for a broad-based, wild and crazy group is that you can't have a thread. I mean, it goes off into 800 different directions. But
Yes.
our AI Tinkerers group is now kicking up a LinkedIn page that is specifically for us to do exactly what you're talking about in, a slightly different context. And that
Okay.
might be a better solution. It'd be much more manageable. You can have a thread. You can have a question on this and have people respond. You can have another thread and have people respond to that thread.
The only thing I would say, Scott, about
Suggestion.
LinkedIn, I haven't experimented with LinkedIn pages. I've experimented with LinkedIn groups. The problem is that no one actually goes to them, and you get very little engagement. The thing with the WhatsApp group is that it kind of arrives on everyone's phone, and they get a notification. You tend to get more engagement. That's the only thing I will say. However, I'm open to joining your LinkedIn page, so please send it.
Have the WhatsApp group feed the LinkedIn page. That's all.
We're open to anything. I mean, this is not, there are no closed minds, hopefully, here. Because if you have a closed mind in this day and age, you're in trouble.
So yeah, I think Scott, I think we can experiment with that. The one thing I will say about WhatsApp, guys, that I mean, outside of the US, WhatsApp is like the only way that people communicate, pretty much.
Yes.
So and I'm in more groups than I want to be in. However, what's cool about the groups is that you get like, this general feed of like back and forth, but then you can quickly go into private conversations because you can just like find someone and then go into like a one-on-one chat with a person. So that's what I suggest you do, guys, is when we set up the group, if someone asks a question, maybe you can kind of respond to them in the group so everyone can see it. But often it's best to kind of then, when you want to go into detail, go reach out to that person and have a one-on-one chat with them. So we want to facilitate one-on-one conversations and group conversations in the main group. So so for those of you who voted, thank you. The 5 of you who are interested, we'll be letting you guys know about that group in due course. We have, how many minutes do we have? We've got 3 minutes.
Wow.
Okay.
That went fast.
That went super fast. Questions from the audience, guys.
I never join WhatsApp groups, but I want to join this one. And Kimberly, I direct messaged you with my email address. I'd love to continue our conversation if that doesn't sound too creepy. Okay.
I sent you one out with the tool, some of the tools. I don't see your message though.
Oh, it'll.
I'll find you though.
Oh,
Malcolm Emmons.
That sounds creepy. So,
but it's true.
Yeah. Do you have skills that nobody knows about?
I was an investigator in a prior life, so I can find pretty much anything that I want.
I have a specific set of skills. Okay.
No, I'll make sure I reach out.
Okay. Super.
Christine, by the way, will answer all of you with all your chat messages. We'll get back to all of you in answers to your questions. So don't worry about that.
I'm interested in the WhatsApp. I can answer on the phone. Okay. So yeah.
So we got a minute left, Evan.
Yeah, I think what we can do, we can just close out so we can respect everyone's time. But the main takeaway, guys, is please reach out to us if you want to discuss any more of these AI audio. You can reach out to David, reach out to Jan, and then also if you're interested in the WhatsApp group, we'll be sending out an email as well, inviting you to. It's invite only, but we'll invite you to kind of like say who you are so that we can accept you. And then from that, this kind of situation that we're in, Kimberly, you won't have to investigate Malcolm because you'll just be in the WhatsApp group. Okay?
I finally found him in the string. It just kind of so we're
All
good.
right.
Don't have to go super creepy.
We want to avoid the creepiness. We want to just have a WhatsApp group to just like solve all that problem. Okay. So exactly, Nancy. We've got to run. but this was a great session. It went absolutely flying. And so I really appreciate Jan and I really appreciate David, especially for coming on as our guest speaker. David, any last words?
Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to, just chat with you about what you're thinking. I put my info in the chat, so you know. Thank you, everybody.
Just let us know what you thought of it. Any suggestions for improving? Next one's January. We're going to dive into marketing and AI, and that will be more than one roundtable. That could possibly be 3 roundtables with 3 different ways of doing marketing, with 3 different people who have different views of it.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Evan and
I
Christine.
put a link to a YouTube video. That's the 90-minute presentation about marketing through LinkedIn using AI, and it's an amazing presentation about AI capabilities. I was shocked because
I'm sure.
Is that available to us?
Yeah, I put it in. It's just in YouTube, and I put
All right. Thank you.
And I think I'm up to date, and this put me back 3 months.
Yeah, there's a tendency to happen.
Behind. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.